You see, the strongest muscle, while not a muscle we don't actually even know, is your brain, is your mind. And rather than calling it a strongest muscle, I'd say it's your strongest tool at your disposal. And what does a tool do? A tool helps you do shit, makes things easier. But a tool is only useful if you use it. But why is your mind your strongest tool or muscle? Because you can grow the strength, quote unquote, of this tool, of this muscle. But you see, you have to build the strength of your mind to do the opposite of what it wants to do. And that's why all the best successful athletes, entrepreneurs, and so on, they train their mind to overcome by doing hard shit when they don't want to do it. Mind over everything. Mind over body, mind over habits, mind over feelings, mind over mind. It's the mind over everything. What you think about is your reality. So if you can think that you're stronger than you actually are, it soon becomes your reality, right? Think and believe. But that's all a function of your mind, how you think and believe. So what you think and believe ultimately becomes your reality. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the End-to-End Podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Young Nguyen, affectionately called Ninja or Prolific Ninja by my family and friends. And because you all, my listeners, are my fans, family, and friends, you can call me Ninja too. This is the End-to-End Podcast, the Alpha to the Omega, the beginning to the end, talking about life, motivation, drive, success, self-fulfillment, and offering you morsels in this all-you-can-eat buffet called life. In the studio, still hot as hell in Houston, Texas. It's not as hot as it is humid, man. You go outside and you are immediately sweating. But, you know, that's good for your skin, let's say. But back in the studio, happy to be here. I'm going to start this episode as I start every day. If you're new to the show, if you've been listening a while, you know that I start my day thanking the universe, God, for another opportunity to live a bountiful and fulfilling life, inspiring others. And so with that, I want to start this episode by thanking you all, my followers, supporters, subscribers, those of you all who have been sharing the show. We do this on my own dime, on my own time. So I spend my own hard-earned money. I have a whole team of production crew that gets this content out to you. And so the only way we grow our show without sponsorship is if you share it. So we do this on a value exchange. If you learned something, if something you found entertaining, if you found something that would be helpful for somebody you know, please do share the show. I like to say, if you're knowledge swole, share the show. That is how we grow in our mission of inspiring billions of people across this planet to live to their fullest controllable potential. The key here is controllable, because there are many factors that are outside of our control. But whatever we can control, we want to control it to our fullest potential. It's the summertime, as you all know. A lot of times there's, the summer doldrums, where it's just so hot. You're sweating, you're tired, the heat, you're dehydrated, and you don't feel like doing much. Okay. But thinking about that, that's when you need to do the most. Similar today, like I typically run, since I ran the half marathon or trained up for it. I run almost every day. Took about a week or two off around my birthday. But started up again, and it is freaking hot. And so I caught myself this morning just trying to delay the run as much as possible. Do this, make an excuse here, do that, and do that. But then it reminded me the main question about you, about us, about success. Running, fitness, lifting weights, it's about building muscle, right? So what would you say is your strongest and biggest muscle in your body, right? Is it your biceps? Is it your quads from doing squats, leg presses, lunges? Is it your glutes from the deadlifts, lunges, and all that? Your calf muscles, your triceps, your chest from bench pressing? What is your strongest muscle? And many of y'all will be like, man, I've been listening to you for a long time. You know it's not that obvious. You're right, it's not that obvious. It's not a physical muscle, let's say. But then you're going to say, well, maybe it's your heart. Your heart is your strongest muscle. And in many regards, I would agree with you, but that's not the right answer either. Because your heart is a vortex pump that just moves blood throughout your body, right? Some would say it's the power generator of your whole being. But your heart is automatic. It's an automatic muscle. You can't, you can strengthen your heart, but it's an automatic muscle, meaning you can't consciously control your heart, so to speak, and make it build muscle. You can work yourself into building a stronger heart, but it's not the strongest muscle. You see, the strongest muscle, while not a muscle we don't actually even know, is your brain, is your mind, is your mind. And rather than calling it a strongest muscle, I'd say it's your strongest tool at your disposal. And what does a tool do? A tool helps you do shit, makes things easier. But a tool is only useful if you use it, right? But why is your mind your strongest tool or muscle? Because you can grow the strength, quote unquote, of this tool, of this muscle. You can grow it. But in order to grow it, you have to work at it. You have to build it, right? You see, your mind controls everything. Just like this morning when I wanted to delay and, slowly put on my shoes. And after I put my shoes on, I'm finding things to work on, answer emails on my phone and all that until it just clicked. It's like, no, let's just go. And that reminded me to remind you over the summer when you don't feel like doing shit on how to build your mind muscle, your mind tool. And basically, the way to build it up is do the exact opposite of what your mind is telling you. Crazy, right? Do the opposite of what your mind is telling you. Because you see, your mind is the ultimate saboteur. It's the ultimate saboteur. We are hardwired to not do things until we ultimately have to do things. Right? Just like a lion in the African desert, in the Serengeti. They lazy around and sleep all day until they get hungry, then they go on a hunt. Right? Now the risk here is, what if they go on the hunt and don't make a kill? And they starve. And then they have less energy to go on the next hunt to try to get a kill. And what if they miss on that kill? Then they're even more starving. And they have less energy to go out on the third attempt to get a kill. That's the same as our mind. Our mind is hardwired to only do shit when we really, 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 really have to do shit. That's why so many of us procrastinate. I'm guilty of it too. I procrastinate. Right? On a lot of stuff, not urgent stuff, but I procrastinate. But you see, you have to build the strength of your mind to do the opposite of what it wants to do. And that's why all the best successful athletes, entrepreneurs, and so on, they train their mind to overcome by doing hard shit when they don't want to do it. Some would say that's discipline. Some would say that's grit, determination, all that. Yeah, that's very true. Those are actual definitions. Mike Tyson's definition, discipline is doing something you don't love, but doing it like you love it. That's true. But that's just training your mind to become the strongest, ultimate muscle tool it can possibly be by doing stuff you don't want to do, doing the hard stuff. So don't think of words, people, there's so much emphasis on discipline and grit, and this is what it takes. That's true. And it's actually, to me, it's overdone where it's turning people off. When you hear the word discipline, you're like, oh, fuck that. I already know. Let's simplify it even more. Let's not define it. Let's just understand the process. And that's just doing the exact opposite of what your mind is telling you to do. Man, I want to take today off. Go do something. Man, I don't want to read this book. Go read it. Man, I don't want to go lift weights. Go lift weights. Your mind is tricking you because it wants you to conserve energy. We're hardwired like that. Conserve energy until you need energy. But success is a different beast, because success has nothing to do about energy, survival, and all it has to do is success only has to deal with results. And in order to get results, you need to do hard shit. And in order to do hard shit, you need to strengthen the muscle, the tool that is your mind. And in order to strengthen the tool that is your mind, that muscle, you got to do hard shit and do the exact opposite of what your mind is trying to tell you. When I was young, it's a crazy story. I learned through martial arts, through meditation, through a lot of things just growing up. I don't know what the main factor was, but I learned very early that the mind can control everything. Mind over everything is my motto. Mind over everything. Mind over body, mind over habits, mind over feelings, mind over mind. It's the mind over everything. What you think about is your reality. So if you can think that you're stronger than you actually are, it soon becomes your reality. Right? Think and believe. But that's all a function of your mind, how you think and believe. So what you think and believe ultimately becomes your reality. So funny story, when I was a kid, I thought the mind was so strong that we could move shit, like telekinesis, I think is what it is. And, CIA studies would say that it actually is true. What we don't know is true might actually be true. So what I would do as a kid, just to illustrate to myself working on the power of my mind, automatic door locks were a new thing. Before, you old school folks, Gen Xers, y'all know I just turned 50. You had to used to pull a pin up and down to lock and close the car door, lock and unlock the car door. But as soon as we had power locks, that changed everything. It was a switch inside the door, lock, unlock. So what I would do is I would have the key in my hand, lock the door, and close it from the outside. And I would sit there for hours trying to use my mind to unlock the door. Kind of crazy. Thinking that the mind was more powerful than anything. Did I ever succeed? No, I didn't succeed. But it was training myself the idea that the mind controls everything. So fast forward to today, when I've strengthened my mind so much that when I feel pain in my body, I just overcome that with my mind. I don't even think about it. Now I'm distinguishing between pain and injury, right? If I'm injured, I'm injured. But just everyday soreness and pain, don't want to go lift, don't want to do. No, my mind is stronger than my body. Go do it. Same thing with work, man. I don't want to go do this, write this paper. I don't want to train my mind. Go do it. So, again, the strongest muscle in your body, not your biceps, your quads, your chest, your glutes, your lower back, none of that. Those are real muscles. Yeah, they're very strong. You can build them up. It's not your heart, right? Your heart will keep up with the aerobics of your body, but it's your mind. Build up your mind. Understand your mind controls everything. Build it up. Make it stronger. When you do that, people will say, man, he's got a lot of grit. He's got a lot of determination. He's got a lot of discipline. That's just a function of the mind. It's not qualities of the individual. It's the result. It's what you observe. But the actual process of the discipline is strengthening your mind. Do the hard shit and do the stuff that you do the exact opposite of what your mind is telling you to do. When it wants to be lazy, conserve energy, no urgency. Build it, create false urgency, create false hunger, create false desire or needs or wants, right? Create false fear. All these things, you have to create it in your head in order to do the exact opposite of what your mind is telling you when you don't want to do stuff. So build that muscle today. Go out, do something hard for yourself. Read a book that you don't want to read. Read a few pages. Doesn't matter. Just do something your mind is telling you not to do. And you're going to start building the habits of strengthening the muscle, the tool that is your mind. Grateful for another time, another episode, another opportunity to bring some wisdom to you. If you found this episode valuable at all, please do like, follow, comment, subscribe, and especially share this episode. Share the reels we're producing for you on social media. We're on X now at N2N Podcast. The more we share, the more we grow, the more we get to in partnership together influence and inspire billions of lives across the planet to live to their fullest controllable potential. Going to end the episode as I end my day. Many of y'all know, and if you're new to the show, before I put my head down on the pillow, close my eyes to sleep, I thank God, the universe, for another day, another opportunity to have tried to live to my fullest controllable potential and inspiring other people. So with that, I want to thank you all with an expression of gratitude for liking, commenting, following, sharing the show. If you're knowledge swole, share the show. That's how we grow. Be great today, but be even more grateful. Talk to you soon. Thank you very much.